Welcome back to the channel, man. We are reacting to foremost disturbing Reddit accounts by Chillin' Scares. Hope everybody having a blessed day. Let's go ahead and hit that intro.
I love Dior. I love Dior. I love Dior.
March 6, 2017, a rather concerning post was uploaded to Reddit titled, "Found Cry for Help on Reddit from Thai Factory Worker." This post was referring to the comments left by a user named Fujitagaikin001 on seemingly random threads. There were 44 comments in total, with the first one appearing on r/promos on February 22, 2017. And with a single exception, all contained the same words. I face too serious problem of human rights at Fujitagaikin, Thailand. Please help me. Searching for Fujitagaikin, Thailand on Google leads to a factory of the same name. And while the factory is located in Thailand, the company that oversees its operations is Japanese. So, from the looks of things, these comments were likely pleas for help from someone who had to work in horrible conditions at this factory, possibly even against their will, which sounds a bit absurd at first,
Post that shit
but
everywhere.
is actually quite plausible. You see, Thailand has a major modern-day slavery problem, primarily in its fishing industry, but can also extend to other industries as well, with over 400,000 people being forced to work for little to no compensation.
Yeah.
Additionally, Japan is also notorious for what's known as its black companies, which force employees into
Fuck.
exploitative, sweatshop-like environments with unpaid overtime and harsh working conditions. Given these issues, it's not unreasonable to imagine a Japanese worker getting stuck working at a factory in Thailand with no escape in sight, and all they were able to do is beg for help on the internet. They were likely not proficient in English, which would explain the grammar mistakes. Also, the vast majority of comments they left were on the most mainstream subreddits, like pics, GIFs, space, gaming, and some others, suggesting they likely weren't familiar with Reddit either and might have just clicked on the top subreddits they came across and commented on the first post they saw. However, this is where this theory starts breaking down. Because despite many people offering advice and trying to help, Fujitagaikin001 never responded, neither in the comments nor in DMs. This led many to believe that these comments were nothing more than spam from a bot, which obviously isn't an uncommon sight on social platforms like Reddit. However, many argue that explanation doesn't hold much weight here, mainly because in one instance, Fujitagaikin001 posted the comment twice on the same thread, something they hadn't done in any post before or since. A bot would almost never make such a mistake, suggesting it might have been human error. On top of that, while 44 comments are a lot for a person, they are a tiny amount for spam bots that can post hundreds, if not thousands of comments in a matter of seconds. Not to mention the fact that Fujitagaikin001's comments were posted over the span of 4 days, with seemingly random intervals between each comment. Put simply, these comments were almost certainly posted by a person. So, what's really going on here? Were these comments really cries for help from someone stuck in an unfortunate, exploitative situation? Well, it's hard to say. From what I was able to find on Fujitagaikin, there doesn't seem to be any indications of shady activity going on behind the scenes. After Fujitagaikin001's story caught some attention, several people reported the company to organizations like Amnesty International. But the company is still operational to this day, and I didn't find any news coverage of anything bad being discovered at their factory in Thailand. It does have a few dozen negative reviews on Google, but almost all of them were posted after Fujitagaikin001's comment became popular on Reddit. One possible theory is that these comments were posted by a troll or a competitor with the express goal of tarnishing Fujitagaikin's reputation. However, there's currently no evidence that supports or contradicts this theory. The most likely explanation that I was able to come up with stems from the only comment Fujitagaikin001 made that strayed from the usual pattern. Translated into English, it reads, "Fujitagaikin, I'm being subjected to power harassment in Thailand." The power harassment mentioned in this comment is a specific Japanese term used to describe workplace bullying, usually by a superior. And while it is bad, it's not as extreme as the slavery situation many on the internet assumed it to be. Here's what I believe might have happened. A Japanese employee working at Fujitagaikin's Thai factory was likely getting harassed by one of their superiors. Frustrated with their situation, they turned to the internet for help. But since they weren't fluent in English, they used a tool like Google Translate, which unfortunately made their comments sound far more serious than intended. Now, this is still nothing more than an educated guess. There are still many questions that remain unanswered, like why did they choose to
Battlefield, ain't
spam it
it?
across largely unrelated subreddits? Or why did they stop commenting after 4 days?
9 years
People on
ago.
Reddit also discovered another one of their accounts named help001001 with similar comments, but that didn't provide any useful clues either, leaving the true intentions of Reddit user
Might have took that boy out.
Fujitake001 a mystery to this day.
Might have took that boy out, bro. I don't know.
On October 27th, 2019, a newly
We on the
created
second
Reddit
one.
account named Snapped Fingers made a post on r/advice looking for help with his deteriorating mental condition, stating, "Seeing and hearing things that aren't there.
Well,
Lately, I've been
schizophrenic.
seeing and hearing things that aren't there even more than normal. Most of the time it's small things like seeing spiders on me in my peripheral vision, only to
Oh, hell nah. Imagine you had schizophrenia where you just see spiders or bugs on you. Hell no.
look at them and they disappear.
Kill me.
Other times
On
when I'm in
me, bro.
bed,
They kill
this
me.
thing about the thickness of a big fist pops up like a big snake on the side of my bed and looks at me only to dart back down out of sight. Whenever I investigate, nothing is there. Rarely, there's full body visual hallucinations. The last one was from a couple
What if schizophrenia? What if that's just a, like, you know how they be like, they only make conspiracy theory so they can debunk all the shit that we say. What if schizophrenia is only here to debunk the shit that we see? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro.
years ago when I was taking out the garbage. The silhouette of a child crunched down on all fours charged me only to disappear when I looked at it. And before that, there was a large, fleshy, naked, featureless figure slowly walking on all fours in the room down the hall, approximately the
nah.
average size of a man. The OP then went on to describe how he did similar audio-visual hallucinations since he was a child, and how the situation was getting worse as of late. Unfortunately, he didn't seem to have anyone in his life he could rely on. According to the OP, his relatives dismissed his condition as something supernatural, and his friends, quote, kicked him to the curb, suggesting he might have had a falling out with them. The OP also described his reasoning for not getting a
Imagine your friend say, bro, I got schizophrenia, I'm seeing shit. And your friend just be like, and your family be like, you know what? Leave me alone. Get out my face. I don't want to be your friend no more. Fuck that shit.
medical diagnosis, as to him it felt like the doctors were treating him like a science experiment. This post alone painted Snapped Fingers as a deeply troubled person who is likely suffering from severe schizophrenia and possibly other mental illnesses as well. However, this was just the beginning of the deeply disturbing spiral he would eventually descend into. Starting from his very next post on r/confessions titled, "Saw someone get run over by a train and didn't feel anything."
Oh,
Things
yeah.
drifted from mental hallucinations to physical harm from that point on, with Snapped Fingers asking, "If I bite off my own finger, could it be reattached or attached somewhere else?"
What the
OP
fuck?
also shared a story of a painful experience he had to go through because of his condition, reading,
Yeah, that nigga, I don't, yeah. Something wrong with him. You see, something wrong with, he need a doctor, bro, like a serious.
"In 2008, I stuck a power drill into my arm.
What the
Sometime
fuck?
Back in 2008, I was putting together a shelf when this large black mass came out of nowhere and engulfed my unoccupied arm. I didn't see it till it was right up on me. It scared me so badly, and it was coming up from my arm for my face. So I started jamming the drill into it. On the second strike, I hit my arm and the hallucination dissipated." Concerned users once again urged the OP to seek medical help. But
Like, is there anything you can do? Like, I've seen certain people with schizophrenia, they'll hold up a camera to see if the thing is in the camera or whatever. Like, is that shit you can do to, cause this nigga just did some wild shit. He said he drilled his arm, like, on some wild shit, like, and it disappeared, so. Is it like, if I hit my arm where that shit at, would it disappear or that shit just crawl on my other arm?
he declined it once again, stating that he didn't want to end up in a mental asylum or become an experiment for doctors again. However, while he rejected most of the normal advice under this post, the one comment he agreed with suggested
And it crazy, that shit is so powerful that you can feel the hallucinations. Like, it's not just, you know what I'm saying? You can feel that shit. Shit crazy.
a fairly
How powerful our brains is.
absurd explanation for OP's situation, suggesting that maybe the OP could see into another dimension. This was odd considering his earlier reservations about the clearly untrue supernatural beliefs of his relatives. But for some unknown reason, this one comment struck a chord with him, resulting in him spiraling out of control and eventually adopting the belief that his hallucinations were caused by some interdimensional beings.
The internet made that nigga think he was looking into another dimension. and seeing other beings.
Much of this new belief was fueled by equally mentally ill or
Let's see
outright
how he
delusional
starts
individuals
spiraling.
he befriended on platforms like Discord. But in Snapfinger's broken, mentally ill mind, he'd finally found the truth. So he began inquiring about how to deal with these so-called interdimensional beings, what was the best way to banish them, and what he had to sacrifice to make these beings leave him alone. Now,
What
it's
the
unclear if
fuck?
people giving him these ideas genuinely believed what they were saying, or if they were just trolls who were taking advantage
Probably
of
a
OP's
whole bunch
mental
of
illness
them.
to see how far
People who
they could push
believe,
him.
people who were trolling.
Regardless of their intentions, however, the end result was the spiraling of a vulnerable young man who now believed that there were, quote, interdimensional hell portals in the Paris catacombs, and that his duty was to close said portals. He then started denying having schizophrenia in favor of this false belief. To make matters worse, Snapfinger
See, maybe I shouldn't ask that question. You know what I said? What is schizophrenia? Just, yeah. Let's throw that in the trash. Because apparently, this nigga fan right now, do I even got schizophrenia? Do I really got it?
actually ended up traveling to Paris in May of 2020 to achieve his newfound goal, and apparently
That is nigga
still
finna go
planned
into
to
the
do so.
catacombs looking for
On
hell
the 5th
portals.
of May, he made one final post before entering the catacombs, stating, "We'll be entering the catacombs in a few hours-ish." Before, someone had asked about a time frame for when I'll post an update, and while I don't know how big the catacombs are, my guess is maybe a day or two before my return with videos. I've taken some test footage while
I
I was
guarantee you
hovering
did not
inside the dumpster
return.
the other night, and the quality honestly isn't that great, but it's alright. To make up for the quality of the video, I will take more footage while I'm down there. However, the update never came.
Never
leading many
came.
to believe that the OP had likely gotten lost and passed away from exhaustion or dehydration inside the
Damn.
catacombs. For those who don't know, the Paris catacombs stretch over 186 miles or 300
Damn.
kilometers, most of which is completely unexplored. Entering these unknown sections is pretty much a death sentence for even experts on the location, let alone a complete rookie like the OP. But to everyone's surprise, Snapfingers actually made a comeback almost 2 years later in May of 2022. It seemed he somehow successfully found his way into the
That's him
catacombs,
recording?
explored them for a while, and then managed to find his way back. He made a post admitting that there were no portals or anything of that nature in there, followed by a final
Okay.
post meant to give everyone invested in his story some closure. And while he didn't go into details of what happened after he entered the catacombs, he did seem to be on the right path, stating, "Without going into much detail, I am not dead, and even though things are not perfect, I am always improving despite minor hiccups here and there. But as I said before, I intend to distance myself from this and will take the necessary steps to achieve that in order to return to normality." His
Okay.
account, which is now deleted, stood as a disturbing showcase of the delusions of a mentally
Okay,
ill
so it seemed like he got a good ending, okay? He realized that he was going to look cuckoo, and he said, you know what, I'm finna go get some help. Okay, so I guess whatever was down there in them catacombs, get the fuck out of him, or he got down there and he was just like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm looking for fucking portals.
and that almost led him to his own death in the Paris catacombs. Hopefully he was able to get the help he
Oh,
needed
yeah, almost
and
there.
is doing
Okay.
much better in life.
So he almost died down there, so he did get a little scared down there.
April Bever
That
was
shit
a
woke his ass
45-year-old
up.
woman who lived in the city of Broken Arrow,
We on the third
Oklahoma,
story?
with her husband, 45-year-old David Bever, and their 7 children. April was the primary caretaker of her family, as well as the teacher for her homeschooled children. In addition to this, she also liked browsing Reddit, where she went by the name of Aoki Mom. Given her other
What is Reddit? Is Reddit like Twitter? I've been on there a few times. It look confusing as fuck, but like, is it like Twitter? What is Reddit? What was that? Wasn't there another like? It was Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. It was another one, bruh. People don't really talk about that shit no more. I forgot what that shit called, bruh.
otherwise busy lifestyle, Reddit was one place where she could talk to other like-minded people and make new connections. Though many of her posts revolved around the love she had for her children. On a post discussing the financial benefits of not having any kids, April wrote, "I have 7 children and we have always lived on one income and have never had any government assistance or needed it. We have a 4,700 square foot house, 2 newer cars, and my kids do not do without. There are childless people that do not have this. Life is about making good job or income choices and then making the best money choices based on your income.
She said I had 7 kids, still got paper bit. Step up your game, eh?
I would never give up having any of my children so I could have more money. They are amazing people and the world would benefit by having them in it. And nothing I could buy or invest in could compare to giving a person a chance to have a life. Put simply, there was nothing April treasured
Little kid on the left look like Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle. I said Malcolm in the Middle. Why I say it like that?
more than her family. Sadly, her time with this family was cut short in 2015 in what would later be remembered as one of the greatest tragedies of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Wait, what
On July
happened?
22nd, 2015, the Broken Arrow Police Department received a 911 call from 12-year-old Daniel Bever, April and David's third son.
Broken Arrow 911. Hello? Hi, where are you at?
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma 7411.
What address?
709 Magnolia Court.
Okay. Are you the only one there?
No, my brother's attacking my family.
Your dad
Whoa.
is attacking your family?
No, my brother.
Whoa.
The
What
call
the
ended
fuck?
shortly after, and any subsequent attempt
I thought it was gonna be some random Reddit nigga came to their house and started killing. That nigga said, "Hey brother, what the fuck going on?"
from the police to contact the family were unsuccessful. Officers rushed to the scene as quickly as they could.
I don't know, bruh. I know. I think they got scripts. Them police 911 operators, whatever. I think they got scripts. But if I'm hearing somebody saying help, it ain't that hard to hear somebody say help. You know what I'm saying? Give me the address. I got police coming your way. They be asking too many questions, and I be feeling like that shit like on purpose. I don't know, bruh.
When they reached the Bever
Cause I don't know. It's just certain shit you don't do. Like if you hear somebody saying help, they give you your address. Like you still asking questions. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just weird to me.
house, the front door was locked, so they forced their way in. However, nothing could have prepared them for the massacre they were about to witness on the other side of that door. The first person officers found was 13-year-old Crystal lying in the hallway in a pool of her own blood.
Shit.
She'd been stabbed multiple times, including a slash across her throat. Despite her
Fuck.
injuries, however, she was conscious and managed to tell the officers that her two older brothers, 18-year-old Robert and 16-year-old Michael, were the ones responsible for everything.
But
Further
why?
inside the home, officers found the remains of the rest of the family. along with
They
dozens of
killed the little baby too. What the fuck is wrong with these niggas?
stab wounds. April was in especially rough shape, with a later autopsy report confirming over 48 wounds on her body. The only
48,
one left
bruh.
unharmed was the youngest, 2-year-old Autumn.
Okay, they didn't kill the
However,
baby.
Robert and Michael were nowhere to be seen.
But they killed where the little girl
Fortunately,
at.
Investigators were quick to determine that they might have escaped from the back door, and it wasn't long before the two were located and subsequently arrested.
Why do their face look familiar? Was it like a international thing? Cause their face look familiar, bruh.
the woods behind their home. When asked about it, Robert said that he was proud of what he had done. Later
Oh,
interrogation also revealed their motive, which boiled down to imitating the actions of other mass murderers they had read about on the internet. They wanted to start with their own family and then leave a trail of blood across.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You know, I had one homeboy say, he was like, and I was telling him about some shit. He was like, man, if they really wanted to be famous, bruh, they would have put their face out there. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. I forgot what we was talking about. But I was like, folks like this, bruh, people like this, bruh, they don't care about money. They get famous. They don't care about whatever. If they want to get famous by killing people. That's what they want to get famous by. Fuck the money, fuck whatever. They don't want none of that. They trying to kill people. Like, bruh. And it just gonna like the people they was watching influence them to kill their family and finna kill other people. Somebody watching them and got influence and finna do the same shit if they already haven't did it.
Many states. Fortunately, they were caught before they could execute this plan completely. They stood trial multiple times over the next few years and were found guilty on the charges filed against them. Michael was sentenced to
Like, I don't understand why you even need a trial for situations like this. We know these niggas did it. Just put them in jail. Why we gotta wait years or months to get these niggas out? You know what I'm saying? I can see if they didn't have evidence or some shit like that. But y'all know that they killed. Fuck the trial. Just put them in there.
5 consecutive life sentences, while Robert was given 9 for being the primary mastermind behind the crime. Aoki Mom's Reddit account and subsequent posts are now left abandoned, seen in a much more
Damn,
disturbing
bro.
light following the massacre that took place over a decade earlier.
I was thinking about that shit the other day, bro. There's so many people that die, and then their account just there. Unless their family members or friends delete the account or whatever, their account just sitting there. All their memories, all they posts they made, just everything just sits there on the internet forever.
On the 7th of August 2015,
And depending on how they die, and you go back and read them, if it's like eerie or scary or not, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like going back and reading her messages, her posts is probably like damn. You know what I'm saying?
Is There Life After Lyme made a post in the
It's the
Lyme
fourth
disease
story.
subreddit recounting her terrible experience with the ailment, writing,
Lyme disease
Lyme
is.
disease has ruined my life.
What's Lyme disease?
I was diagnosed by an LLMD last year with congenital Lyme disease, as well as several co-infections
Looking it up on the
after
phone.
several years of suffering with horrible brain fog, depression, vision problems, and memory loss. I was so happy to finally get a diagnosis. Since then, I have been getting treated, but I have not gotten any better at all. I am a single working mother, and between visits to my LLMD and the formulas I buy from her and paying for things for my child, I am struggling to stay afloat.
Oh, so you get Lyme disease from ticks and deer ticks, black leg ticks. It's a certain amount of tick. So don't get bit by no ticks. If you got a deer, nigga, watch out for them ticks.
Not have health insurance, and it's getting to the point where I'm looking into food stamps. My LLMD tells me that I will get worse if I stop the treatments now because the bacteria are smart. There are no other LLMDs in my area, so I can't go for a second opinion, and it's useless to go to a traditional doctor where I'll just be laughed at. I feel like I've tried everything and nothing has worked. I've even begun to see signs of congenital Lyme disease in my 5-year-old daughter. The hostility, the impulsiveness, the inability to concentrate. I simply can't afford to get her treated for Lyme. I've even asked myself if I should give her up for adoption and if I'm fit to be a mother with my mind the way it is. I just
Yeah.
don't know what to do. Lyme disease has ruined my life. It ended my first marriage and estranged me from my ex. I guess my main question is, where do I go from here? What do I do if I'm not getting better? How could I pay for treatment without going broke and having to apply for food stamps? And if all this wasn't bad enough, in a comment under this post, she also revealed that her LLMD was also strictly against antibiotics and only prescribed herbal formulas. Not
Yeah.
only were these expensive herbal treatments largely ineffective in treating the core issue, they were actively harming her, with one of these prescriptions causing hallucinations and psychosis, as well as physical symptoms like an upset stomach. From what she revealed in this post, OP's life seemed truly hopeless. However, something about her story didn't feel right. The symptoms she described weren't in line with the most common symptoms of Lyme disease. More importantly, she herself admitted that all of her Lyme disease tests were actually negative, and that her entire diagnosis and by extension treatment was based on a single test that came back inconclusive. Either her LLMD was taking advantage of her,
What is she
or
talking
was
about?
lying about her life to gain sympathy from other Redditors. In either case, something was very wrong. Despite the growing skepticism, however, Is There Life After Lyme kept posting about Lyme disease and other related subjects. But then, in September 21st, she made a post that shed further light on her condition, more specifically how it related to her deteriorating mental state. In it, she recounted a psychotic episode she experienced at the grocery store earlier that week, where voices were screaming at her to buy specific things or they would hurt her. Most
What the
users who
fuck?
saw the post urged
You
her
know
to
what crazy? I saw, I don't know if, take it with a grain of salt. We don't know if any of this shit real, but I saw a video. The nigga was talking about how the government got a weapon where if they get certain amount of miles from you, like they can be far from you, they can put voices in your head to make you do certain shit. To make you think like, you know how you hear your voice? You will hear another voice. You did what I'm saying? Like I said, take it with a grain of salt. Who knows if that shit real? Technology we got, it probably is real. But yeah, he was like, they could turn the switch and it was like a nigga, if you had headphones in and you heard the nigga talking to you. So, and I feel like the world is just a big experiment for the higher power, to be honest with you.
seek professional help, which would have likely helped her get her life in order. Surprisingly, she agreed with these suggestions, promised to admit herself into a psych ward, and stopped posting entirely. Unfortunately, by the time she returned in
It's crazy, I saw that
2016,
video,
her mental
and now
state
they
had
talking about
somehow
it.
gotten significantly worse. She started rambling about random conspiracy theories relating to everything from the child-free subreddit
What the
to
fuck?
the Pizzagate conspiracy and how it
Yeah, I
all
was like, she's
relates
talking about the Pizzagate shit now.
to Lyme disease. Is Their Life After Lyme had officially gone off the deep end, and her situation was getting worse with each passing day. By 2018, her posts had become completely unreadable. These nonsensical posts
The hanging. This is just to say, when I was driving, once I saw this written on a bridge, you may well ignore my promise, drunk as you were. Oh, but bitch, I happen to have pickled your words. Huh? One time I finished them out. Syllables reserved in brine. Yes, they sing. They sting like salt. The fuck is she talking about?
were occasionally interrupted by her disturbing cries for help as well, but she didn't respond coherently to anyone who reached out to her, which was extremely concerning for many. This went on till February 2019, after which she completely disappeared from the internet.
What the fuck? Was that her? That's the last post they had right there?
Leaving many to wonder what actually happened to her. However, some Reddit users weren't concerned at all, since in their eyes, the entire Is Their Life After Lyme account was nothing.
If that ain't her, somebody need to go check on homie right there.
It's easy to see why Is Their Life. However,
That nigga said,
some
God,
Reddit
it's
users
entering my
weren't concerned
body.
at all,
Urgent.
since in their eyes, the entire Is Their Life After Lyme account was nothing more than a clever hoax, and it's easy to see why. There were quite a few inconsistencies in her posting habits that hinted at the whole thing being fake. For instance, if she'd truly become incapable of stringing together a single coherent sentence, how was she able to operate a computer or phone enough to make these posts in the first place? Additionally, she also started making parts of her posts in other languages. But when people translated these other languages, they were generally written without any errors, even though the English portion of the same post was completely incomprehensible. However, before people were able to reach a conclusion about whether it was all real or not, someone claiming to be her sister logged into her account and told others she'd been hospitalized after an incident. If we assume the whole thing was fake from the start, it's possible the person behind the account noticed the skepticism and introduced the sister character to wrap up the story. On the other hand, if everything about Is Their Life After Lyme was genuine, this remains as one of the most haunting cases of mental deterioration archived
Oh,
on the
man.
internet.
Yeah, she would deteriorate. If they were real, yeah, her mom was going crazier than the last dude. Like, her sister had to get back on her account to say she was, you know what I'm saying? The other dude, he came back and said, you were getting help. That's crazy, but that was the 4 most disturbing Reddit accounts to date, man. Crazy video, crazy video. What did y'all think about it? Let me know down in the comments below. Hit all them good buttons. I hope everybody stay blessed, and I will see you all later.